Welcome back, everyone. Did you know that you just have to double your money often enough and you'll be a millionaire? What sounds like a truism is worth a closer economic and mathematical examination. This is Wealthlocity. Here you create, protect, and grow your wealth fast. To do this, let's take a quick look at the following numbers: 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, 64,000, 128,000, 256,000, 512,000, 1,024,000. If you have $1,000 in your pocket and a plan to turn it into $2,000, you are only 9 more doublings away from your million. Now you have two options. Either you split the $2,000 and repeat the plan to double $1,000 twice, or you need a plan to double $2,000 to $4,000. Which of these is easier depends on the original plan for how you turned $1,000 into $2,000. If this is easy and safe to repeat, that should be the best solution. But if it is either not easy, and the new plan to turn $2,000 into $4,000 is easier or not safe, if you have a probability of losing $1,000 again in the process of doing so of over 50%, then the new plan that turns $2,000 into $4,000 should be prioritized. For example, if you accidentally turned your $1,000 into $2,000 at the roulette table because you bet on red, and then red came up, that was luck and gave you a doubling round. But since the expected value is only around 48.65%, that is not a sustainable approach to winning the million, because the chance that the winning chance will come 9 times is only 0.15%. 36 over 37 times 18 over 37 to the power of 9 equals 0.0015 equals 0.15%. This means that in 99.85% of your doubling attempts, you will fail on the way to the million, even if your expected value is just under 50%. Because gambling is not a solution anyway. If you don't win the million the first time, you need something with a high expected value. This is the assessment of the so-called entrepreneurial risk. How many times can you fail before you have no more attempts? Suppose you have just made $2,000 from your first $1,000. Is it better to bet the entire $2,000 with an expected value of 51%? If you are lucky, you will have $4,000. But if you are unlucky, the $2,000 are gone and you don't even have $1,000 left to start again with Plan A. But if we put the basic bet aside as insurance to start again and repeat Plan A, assuming it was safe enough, we have now turned the $2,000 into $3,000 by doubling again in the first step of the table. 1 becomes 2 and 1 was in the safe as security. Now we could take the $2,000 and try to make $4,000 out of it. And if we fail, we would still have the $1,000 to start over. If the plan to turn $2,000 into $4,000 is still too risky, we repeat Plan A as often as it is safe and as much insurance sum we want to build up. If we do Plan A 3 more times, we would have $8,000. 3 times 1,000 made into 2,000 gives 6,000 and 2,000 in the safe from the original 3,000. We can see here that although we slowly increase the money in the safe with this minimal plan, the path to doing so is quite arduous because we have to repeat Plan A again and again for just $1,000 more. This leads to the second limitation. How long can you play the doubling game at a low level before you run out of time? Let's assume that the execution of each Plan A takes 2 weeks, is 75% successful, and you always put $1,000 in the safe if you manage to make it $2,000, and take it out again if it fails. Then you have a net growth of $750 per attempt. You put $1,000 in the safe 3 times, you have to take $1,000 out again once, so that after 4 attempts you have $3,000 in the safe. 3,000 divided by 4 equals 750. This means that you need 8 weeks for $3,000, 80 weeks for $30,000, 800 weeks for $300,000, and around 2,650 weeks for the million. That's 50.75 years. If you start at 18, your pension may be secure if we leave inflation aside. For many goals, however, you need $1 million when you are young, because at 70, some activities are no longer so easy, unless medicine develops to the point where 70 is the new 30 in 50 years. So you need more courage to take entrepreneurial risks and plans to move larger amounts. Simply doubling the amounts in Plan A does not always work. In the casino, this is called the table limit. In business, it is often called a limited market, limited demand, and so on. So, simply investing $2,000 or $4,000 in Plan A may not always be possible. But if you have an unlimited market, this is the quickest way to achieve your goal. Although with only a 75% probability, you should not always double but regularly put something in the safe. If you always double, the entire inflated stake would be lost after every fourth run, and you would start again with your $1,000. But if you always put 25% of your winnings in the safe, for example, you only need about 55 runs of 2 weeks each, so 110 weeks or a good 2.1 years to make it to the million. That sounds very different from 50+ years. If it were that easy, everyone would do it, of course, and the world would be full of millionaires. But a business plan with a 75% probability with such a small stake and a duration of 2 weeks is often wishful thinking. Lucky for those who come up with such a plan in the shower in the morning, everyone else either spends more time looking for such a successful plan or needs more time and more reserves for a less successful plan. If we change the probability of success from 75 to just 66%, and we put only 20% in the safe, the whole thing extends to 236 weeks or 4.5 years. The closer we get to the 51% expected value, the more we have to put aside for a total loss and the longer it takes to double with small amounts. At some point, it is time to change the plan in order to make a million with larger stakes. Because even if a bomb-proof plan to turn $200,000 into $400,000 takes a year, in a restricted market, you are already finished after 4 years. In an unlimited market, even after 3, and not after 4.5 with the small change from Plan A. But apart from all the mathematics, the path via the doubling stages is also a path of learning. Because if you know how to turn $4,000 into $8,000, you don't necessarily know how to turn $128,000 into $256,000. That's why a lot of lottery winners lose a large part of their winnings because they try to apply the $4,000 strategy to the $128,000 without checking it. Only by fundamentally dealing with possible plans for doubling your money and the mathematics behind it, and how risky you can be in order not to fall flat on your face and end up with zero, can you sharpen your senses for such opportunities and develop a gut feeling for the topic of risk. What do you think about the mathematical way of becoming a millionaire? Let us know in the comments, and we see you with double your money in the next video.